Thanks for tuning in to the Long Island Local Podcast, recorded here at Audio Workstations in Bohemia, New York. We are interviewing local business owners, entrepreneurs, trying to provide you with the best information on all types of products and services available right here on Long Island. I'm your host, Matt, and let's jump right into the conversation. All right, so welcome everyone to the Long Island Local Podcast. I'm here today with Jason Martello of M&M Social Media.
Thanks for having me today, Matt.
You're very welcome. Full disclosure, Jason and I went to high school together, graduated the same year, and we both ended up in the land of entrepreneurship, so I don't know if it's the school or what, but...
We did. I think it's the school. I think we'll blame it on the school.
We'll blame it on the school and how good they were. Okay, so let's talk about the origin of M&M.
Okay.
What year and why? Let's start there.
All right. So M&M Social Media started in 2015.
Okay.
After I decided I was doing accounting for many years, 12 years. I went to school for accounting.
Wow, I didn't even know that.
Yep. So, Matt, that's what I went. went to Dowling. I
Okay.
took the long road. I went to 3 different colleges. Started off in Farmingdale, Suffolk, and went up in Dowling. After many different obstacles with the schools, just personal stupid reasons, as if the parking wasn't close enough for me and stuff like that, because I'm a big car nut. So if my car wasn't in view of the classroom, I wasn't going to that school anymore. That's how crazy I am.
That's a unique requirement.
Yes, it is. It's kind of crazy. And that with the inflection of the whole fire department that I was volunteering at the time, I wanted to be local, so I decided not to go away to school. So I got offered the opportunity to become an accountant and work for my dad's firm, which is nursing homes and hospitals accounting. So I did that for many years, 12 years. And as I was going on these audits and doing taxes, I would notice the social media pages of these nursing homes were like horrible. It was like they had bad reviews. My mom slipped and fell. This one's mom slipped and fell. And it was just bad. And one day somebody came in the room where I was doing an audit and he said, I'm going to hire some kid to work on all this marketing stuff that's going on. Because, it's about almost 8 years ago, right? Before social media was big and really what's going on. So I did that, and the guy says, you know what? Do you know anything about this stuff? I see you all over the social media. Can you help me out? And I says, you know what? Give me till Monday. Let me see what I could do, and maybe I'll put together a little package for you. It turns out this guy that I was talking to at the time, which I knew who he was already, but I didn't know how in-depth he was with the facilities. He owned 33 nursing homes.
Wow.
So that kind of put me on the table, if you want to say it that way.
Yeah.
I gave the guy a proposal Monday. He was like, this is easier than even looking for somebody to do my marketing. You're going to do it. And that week I formed an LLC and I formed a company.
Wow. So you thought you were like getting one nursing home.
Yep.
And you got 33.
Yeah. So what happened was it was a local nursing home.
Okay.
They had a bad review and I went on there and I got the review removed.
Wow.
And he was like, how'd you do that? And I was like, I just called the lady and I was like, hey, we're going to give you a $25 donut gift card to Dunkin' Donuts. We're so sorry about what happened. Please talk to us and whatever. And it was something small. It wasn't huge.
Right.
And it was removed by Monday.
Wow.
And he was like, wow, if he could do that for one nursing home, what could he do for the rest of my facilities? And that's how I started. I got the name M&M from Martello and Martello. It's me and my mother.
Okay.
She's the silent partner.
Got it.
That's where we started with M&M.
That's awesome. That's like a really fun surprise.
Yeah.
When you think you're just like casually maybe picking up a little bit of like side work.
Right.
And then it kind of morphs into like an entire reason for a company. Yeah.
And I didn't like the accounting to begin with. Everyone knew that. I'm not like, I don't want to say, I'm a hands-on person, right? So I don't want to be sitting in the office all day doing office work and paperwork. But It was paying the bills. I did it for 12 years. I went to college for it. And it turns out I failed the CPA exam 4 times.
Okay.
So I knew that wasn't going to be my route kind of thing,
Well, that answers my next question. I was going to ask if you're your own accountant now as a result.
Yes. So I'm still working in my dad's accounting firm.
Okay.
And I still do taxes and whatnot. But I am not a CPA. I work under another license.
Got you. I just got done with this year's corresponding with accountants for the business side.
Yep. And that could be very dreadful at some times,
It
too.
is kind of dreadful.
Yeah.
And my accountants they always sound like really aggressive in emails. You know what I mean? But then you get them on the phone and they're nice. And I talked to my business partner. I was like, just call them. I know it's stressful to read the emails that sound like they're interrogating you.
Yeah, they just want the info. You know,
Yes.
like, we're waiting on everyone's information to get all of our info. So we want to make sure we just get the information we need from our clients.
Absolutely. But, every year I swear I'm going to like keep really good track of receipts and expenses on a monthly basis.
Right.
And then, by month 3,
You're done.
I've fallen to the wayside, and then the year rolls around and I start kicking myself for not following through with that. But this year's
I'm the
year.
same way. I'm the same way. I feel
year's
it's a little easier nowadays, though, with digital.
Yes, QuickBooks does make it a little bit easier.
Yep.
Although when you do something on PayPal in QuickBooks, it just says PayPal and a bunch of numbers, and you can't tell what it is.
Matt, I see the exact same thing. It's like, what was this PayPal for? Was it for a client or personal, or what was it for,
They know people have to look at it.
Yeah.
Why can't they just put the name of the company like a little closer to the word PayPal? Anyway, I won't get too sidetracked
okay.
on that. All right, so M&M 2015, Martello and Martello accidentally picked up 33 nursing homes.
Correct.
When you woke up one day.
Yep, just like that. It
That's a
happened,
really good
It happened
story.
just like that.
That's a really good story. So when did it go from like just being you and your mom to hiring people
Sure.
and growing it to the point where you have employees?
So year 1, 2015, basically I was by myself. I was doing this social media stuff. And that one guy who with the 33 nursing homes recommended me to everybody he knew also, because the whole nursing home industry needed it. Okay. So I was actually at 70 nursing homes my first year by myself. You have to know also, listening to the show in the year we're in today is a little different social media.
Yeah.
So back then, all we were doing was reputation monitoring. We were working on the reviews and we'd post a picture.
Okay.
There wasn't much like digital advertising. You weren't paying Facebook money then. You couldn't. It was not even an option.
Yeah, they didn't even add the ads.
Right. They didn't even add the ads and all that platform that our friend Mark Zuckerberg's doing over there now.
Yeah.
Which is great revenue stream for him.
Sure it is.
But then I was able to handle the 70 accounts by myself. It wasn't a big deal. We were posting 2 to 3 times a week.
Okay.
As things started getting a little more busier, I told my dad, because I work with my dad, I said, listen, I think I need to bring somebody on to help me. Because at the same time, I was still doing accounting.
Yeah.
So it was getting a little busy. I was working nights. I was working longer hours. But I was like, this might be a revenue source here. Let's maybe build this company up. And I was like, maybe you've got to hire somebody. At that exact moment, I'm not even kidding, somebody walked in off the street and handed in his resume and said, I Googled you guys and saw you're a marketing company. And I didn't even know that we were even on Google. Who knew? Why am I on Google? I mean, yeah, I'm a year and a half old, but I had no idea Google even knew who I was because I wasn't really advertising.
Right.
So, okay, I looked at this guy and I said, all right, leave your resume. I'm like, that's just kind of coincidence because I was just talking
thinking
about that.
it. Yeah.
But I'll look at the resume and then talk about my future plan of the company. So long story short, we hired that guy. About 3 weeks later, made him my manager. And then I decided now I have a manager, I have people working for me. I could do other kind of marketing, not just nursing homes. I could bring on some more business. So in the nursing home industry, there's 600 nursing homes in the entire New York State. So I can go after every nursing home I knew, right? Because we were already doing their accounting for a good majority of them. So I'm going to go after those. And as we built that up, I was like, there's really no satisfaction in here. And I'm all about like return. I want to feel the return. I like doing things to help people. And if I'm doing something and I can't really see the return, it's like not as enjoyable or there's no satisfaction for it. So I realized that I wanted to market other things like restaurants, bars, car dealerships, things I really loved. And not that I don't love the old people in the nursing home. They're great. But we can't really tell the return in the nursing home of how many people are coming in the door.
Right.
So how many new people are coming in with their dollar. So that's important when you're doing a marketing aspect of versus a restaurant or selling a product when you're selling, like, say, a handbag or Christy Brinkley's Prosecco that we do.
Okay.
So that's a direct return, right? So, and speaking of Christy, that was one of my iconic clients that I've ever got.
That's awesome.
So that was pretty cool.
She's pretty Long Island famous,
She's
especially.
definitely Long Island famous with that. It's funny that my new generation who works for me, the younger people, have no idea even who she was, which is kind of crazy. You know,
It's the moment when we feel ourselves getting old.
Yeah, right. I don't know if I feel myself getting old. I just feel like a little displaced. Yesterday we had a meeting and we were talking about 9/11, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Just nothing sad about the day that we were talking about. Just brought up 9/11. And 3 of my employees in the room looked at me and I was like, you just look, when you look at somebody like the look we have now, we know 9/11.
Yeah.
They didn't have the look. And they were like, we weren't even born yet. I'm like, oh my God. It's like, it's crazy how time happens and like that's what happens. And so the new generation, it's just different. You know, they don't understand, obviously.
Yeah, and you would think though that there would be sort of maybe a history class or a social studies class that they could update to include recent current events.
Yeah.
But I have this sneaking feeling that they don't. Like
They don't.
That we're still talking about events that are like more than 50 years old in history class and not catching people up on what happened 20 years ago.
Exactly. And like for me and you who lived that, you know, you'll never forget where you were that day and I'll never forget.
Sure.
But to have my marketing team in the meeting with clients who are a lot older than myself, who impacted everybody, and they're like, we all looked at each other like we knew. The other clients, I looked at them, they knew these kids had no idea. And I just said something. I said, do you guys remember 9/11? They're like, we weren't born. I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
So look, you look at how the time has changed.
Yep.
So the company progressed from there. As of today, I got rid of all my nursing homes. We only do about 7.
Wow.
So what I did is I kind of formed another business at the same time with the marketing. I decided I was going to train the nursing homes how to do their own marketing.
Okay.
And I think it was more beneficial to them rather
Basically
than
made them in-house capable
100%
over
Matt.
time.
Yep. So I would take that person and I would train their in-house person that they had, whether it was a marketing director or it was a nursing director that wanted to do the position, get paid a little more by whatever the facility was giving them.
Right.
And then every month we'll have a team meeting and I'll update them with the updates you need to know, how the ads need to run and stuff like that. So it worked out well for both of us. Still great friends with the guy who owns the 33 places. He owns some more now. And that relationship ended perfect. And I thank him every day for getting me to where I am today. I wouldn't be here without that initial start.
That's awesome. And that way you could focus on the types of businesses that you're more passionate about marketing, but still do right by them and make sure they're doing well.
Exactly. And you see the return with things. You know, that's for me. I like that.
Yeah, that's really cool. So 2015 to 2019 is probably one type of feeling and with what's going on in business. And then when we hit 2020, in what ways was the business impacted?
Yeah, that's a great question, Matt. You know, I've been on a few different shows about this already, and people ask me every day. People are going to ask us for, I think, a lot of years to come of what happened. And for me, unfortunately, we lost a lot of business because we do advertising, right?
Yeah.
And when the pandemic happened, it was hard because a lot of people are losing money. They're losing their jobs. Whether you have the white collar, the blue collar, everybody was affected by this. There's no one you don't talk to who's not affected.
Yeah.
I have seen clients that went from making nothing to making millions. You know, we do a pharmacy, right? Guys doing amazing. So you see the different impact. But as a company whole, we lost a lot of our restaurants. We lost a lot of our hair salons. And it's unfortunate. You look at a restaurant that's gorgeous, right? We're not going to use any name. We just say a gorgeous restaurant that me and you would walk into every day. And they don't have enough payroll to last more than like 3 months. And it's scary because you see the person, you know, every day. You see the cars they're driving, and you're like, all right, we got this. Like, this is fine. Then you realize they didn't have any money saved in the bank.
Yeah.
And we didn't know how long this pandemic would go for. But in the beginning, we're good. We're going to do the takeout. We're going to do more ads for you. We're going to do this. And I lowered the budget for, I would say, 50% of my clients voluntarily on my end. I said, I'm going to cut my rate in half just to keep you guys. We're going to get through this together. Let's do this. We're all in it together, like they're saying, right? So we did that for a lot of them. And then month 6 came, and it was like, Jay, we appreciate everything you're doing for us, but even if we didn't pay you, we can't afford to keep the business open anymore.
Yeah.
So 6 months goes, and they're like, this is it. We have to close the door. You know, so it was unfortunate. It was sad. I have a lot of happy stories out of it too, which, you know, you like to always hear the happy things. I'm a positive guy. I don't like always hearing how horrible it is. I could tell stories every day about people I know that died. I have clients that died. Just, you know, it's horrible, but
it's kind of crazy how certain industries were hit so hard and then certain industries sort of sprung up and flourished. And it's like, you just kind of wish there was some way to spread it around a little more evenly, with, you know, without being forceful about it from an economic standpoint. But in the restaurant business, it's fairly normal to really only be like 3 months or less.
You're 100% right with that, Matt.
You know, and that's like,
I didn't know that. I did not know that.
I mean, I get it. It could cost a lot to start it up, get it going, and then you just keep it rolling, help keep coming in and eating. And the thing is that because everyone always is hungry, you're not worried in general that people are going to stop eating.
And who would have thought that they're going to tell you people can't come into a restaurant? I would have never thought that in my life.
Yeah.
You know, so that really impacted a lot of people.
Restaurants were hit the hardest, and in the world of music, like live music died completely. Pretty much, it's coming back now, but most of the musicians and like live sound engineers went from like being busy all the time to having absolutely nothing.
Yeah, and you look at that aspect of what you're saying with the live music is that's like people's like livelihood. Like some people like working out. I know tons of musicians, like they weren't able to work out. Like they went into depressions and like it changes your body.
You can't play live. You can't exercise. And, it's like.
Yeah. And I'm a huge fan of live concerts. I know my first live concert I went back to, I was like, I don't want to say if it was like legit a live concert, but it was live and it felt so good to be around people. And not to say I didn't care about getting sick and this and that. It just felt good to be with people. And I never thought we'd get to that point where they said you couldn't go to a concert and play music.
Going out and seeing shows again is great because, the isolation gets to people.
Yeah.
And being physically sick is bad, but also being, like mentally unwell is bad too.
It is not good.
So when you start weighing things, you have to find the right balance for everybody's individual situation, I guess.
Of course, 100%.
Okay, so I understand a little bit about the last couple years. Any significant changes in the actual social media landscape?
I think it has definitely evolved. You've seen people who never knew how to do a Zoom, like the older generation, like our parents, who had no idea how to get on a Zoom, but they had no choice.
Yep.
They had to figure out how to get on Zoom. And you look at somebody like my dad, who's in his 70s, who would have no idea even how to pick up the iPhone, right? Mm-hmm. But you had to figure it out. And I have clients that are lawyers, they're doctors, and they were never going to do a Zoom, but you had to figure it out because you had to go on with your life and you had to go on with the business. Whether I'm for that or not, I'm a very hands-on person.
Yep.
And I'm glad to get out and see people in person. But I like the fact that with the technology I feel like became cheaper.
Yep.
And people were able to just start up a studio in their house and be able to be like, okay, we're going to do a virtual. Now I'm on my computer.
Yep.
Great. When they thought they could only do that from their office computer.
Yep.
Now I'm doing it from my iPhone or something. So that technology is interesting.
I think it enlightened people as to what was possible. Just because it's possible doesn't mean it's the best thing all the time, but it means that it's a lot better than no other option.
Right.
As far as social media, I've had a hard time keeping up with all the different styles of posting that you can now do, right?
Yep.
Like Instagram being a Zuckerberg entity just started absorbing the features of apps around it like an app monster stealing people's power.
100%.
And now when I go to post on Instagram, I'm like,
what's a reel?
Well, what kind of post do I want to do? Do I want a regular post? Do I want to do a story? Do I want to do a reel? And it's a lot, right?
Yep,
so
it's a
like,
lot.
How do you communicate to clients and or do stuff for them in a way that is less confusing?
Sure. So for us, the reason why people come to us is for that exact question, right?
Yeah.
Our clients come to us and they have no idea where to post.
Yeah.
What's the right demographic? So based on the client, whether you're a car dealership or selling a Prosecco or a nightclub, well, those don't really exist anymore, but let's just say a lounge that we do. What platforms do you post on?
A virtual nightclub in the metaverse.
Right? Is that they have those, believe it or not. It's crazy what's going on. But the fact of like what platform, the TikTok right now is huge, right?
Yep.
We tell people Instagram and they're like, Instagram, that's old. Like when you tell them like some younger than people, that's old. That's old. TikTok's where it's at. Obviously, I'm sure you know that too.
Yep.
So different businesses, we now have to make TikTok pages, which 2 years ago, we were not making TikTok pages.
Yep.
But you have your 50-year-old adult, whether they're male or female, and you have your 18-year-old adult, if you want to call them, on TikTok.
Yep.
So it's interesting. There's obviously a lot of bumping heads there. I'm sure you've seen the videos where the younger generation's making fun of the older generation for being on the young platform.
Right.
But it's business, right? And this is what it is. This is what it comes down to.
I notice that anytime there's a cool new social media that only the young kids are using, you could just set your watch to the time when it becomes so big that people have to do it for business, and in come the old people.
Yep.
And then the young kids are like, oh, this is for old people now. And then a new app comes along.
Yep.
And it's just this cycle over and over again.
And me and you got to think of the next app, Matt. That's then we'd be good.
I would like to do that. Yeah, that makes sense to me. The whole like, now we got to do TikTok, and then we got to repost what we're doing on TikTok on the Instagram Reels,
well,
right?
Actually, it's harder than that. So it used to be we'd post on the Facebook and the Instagram. We click the button. We have an automated program.
Goes both, yeah.
Boom, it's great. TikTok, we could share it, yes, on the Instagram, but the filters and all the different stuff we can make on them,
Right.
it's more complicated than that
Right.
because the idea of the TikTok is for the different filters and the fun,
And
exciting
they want to
stuff.
keep you in that app, so they
Right.
don't want to make it easy to export a video and
exactly
then put
that.
it somewhere else.
Right. They want you to stay in the TikTok. And you could do TikTok ads now. We do them. We do them for clients. We do them for ourselves. It's interesting, though, to see the return with the TikTok ad is crazy because right now that's where everyone is. So you spend a little bit of money on TikTok, you're going viral versus
Wow.
Facebook. You could spend a lot of money to get a few views.
And do you think that TikTok has done a better job of integrating ads to where they feel like regular posts to people?
Yes, I feel like the reason for that is it's simple. People want things simple. I don't want to read a lot of instructions. I don't want to watch 10 YouTubes on how to get there. It's basically TikTok says promote my video. You click promote my video. What's your number? And you're done.
So, okay, so it's basically a regular TikTok video that you're just promoting, similar to how you can boost a post on Facebook.
Exactly.
So you're not like constructing a advertising for TikTok. You're just like, let's do a TikTok video,
Right.
and if it's good, we promote it, and it just pushes it extra hard
To your audience.
To your audience on
Yep.
the algorithm. That makes sense.
Facebook has went with that. They saw that happening, and Facebook made their advertising platform more like in detail.
Yeah.
It's a little harder, but more in detail. Now I could target the people I'm looking for based on their occupation.
Yeah.
So that worked out well because Facebook had to do something to keep the money still flowing with
So
Facebook.
they didn't. You're saying that they did not have an occupation demographic type of niche filtering before TikTok, and then they added it to compete.
I'd say within the last 3 years,
Okay.
they just added that.
Because I had figured that pretty much Facebook knows everything about
Yeah.
everybody, and they can filter based on anything.
Yep.
But yeah, that's the power of them knowing all this data about everybody.
Yeah.
Has, I guess really accelerated the target marketing thing. Right.
Yep.
When you would do
It has.
you do a TV ad, you have a very rough idea of who's watching,
Yep.
and then not even really that, right?
Yeah.
The way that they would measure things like TV and radio, and they still do, is this very non-precise system of mailing. They basically mail you a letter with $1 in it.
Oh, wow.
And they're like, please fill out this thing
And send it
and
back.
tell us what you listen to.
Oh, wow. That's how
Okay?
they do it. Wow.
It's like self-reporting for $1.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like, this is not the most reliable way to get information on someone. Online now, I mean, yes, people can fabricate background details about themselves, but generally speaking, you know all this stuff about people's likes and dislikes and where they work and
Yep.
what groups they belong to.
And that's what Facebook does. So you fill that all out yourself. They're not filling anything out. They're
Yeah.
taking the data that me and you put in ourselves, and then they just filter right through it. Boom. Okay, this guy has an accounting on his profile. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
he has handyman on his profile. Boom, that's the demographic we're shooting for. Now they have me in their database.
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
And people forget that that's their business model, right? That's we the users are the product,
Yep.
right? And the advertisers are the clients,
Correct.
Yeah, and it's easy to believe that you have a Facebook account, you're like a customer of Facebook. But
You are, which is crazy, right?
Yeah, I mean, but
and you're addicted to it too.
Yes.
To some people. I mean, for me, that's my business, right? So
Yeah.
I'm on Facebook like probably 12 to 14 hours a day.
Wow.
Yeah, it's insane. Like I have to charge my phone most of the time because I'm on it all day. I got to be plugged in somewhere.
you have one of those
I
battery
don't.
pack
I
cases.
don't. When I go to like a convention, I will. But if I'm local, I know I have enough time in the car driving to clients where I
Yeah.
can charge or plug back in at the office.
And
So-
now, for the TikTok though, you're not like personally doing TikToks for fun, right? You're just
I am.
You
I am.
are?
Of
Okay.
course I. Yes. So
I've yet to make my own TikTok.
I'm doing one of my videos reached 175,000 people.
That's awesome.
So I got in that case, then TikTok wants you to start advertising for them. And then people start running ads on my own page.
Interesting.
So they give me money back. So it's pretty interesting.
It seems like they're better at paying creators than
They are.
other platforms.
They are. Because right now they have, I feel like, such a huge demographic that they're able to do that, right? So like if you're an 18-year-old kid and you're like, oh, I can go viral for this. Or if you're that 50-year-old real estate agent that we just did an ad for, she's doing amazing. She's getting like 60,000 views on a video. Why? Because she has that look. She has the funny videos. She puts good filters on it, and it's entertaining. I keep watching it, you know, and that's why. So
Yeah, being entertaining, being genuine,
Yep.
Having some type of authenticity to you. These are the things that connect
And
with people.
laughing, right? People want to laugh now more than ever, right? We had such a hard few years where it's just great to laugh about anything. And watching the TikTok, I think, will make anyone do that if you have any kind of humor.
I get shown TikToks. I get like a lot of, look at this.
Yeah.
And look at this one and this one and this one. And I'm like, okay, TikToks. And some of them are really funny.
Yeah.
But they just keep coming. That's the attention span hack, right? Is that there's no break, there's no pause.
No break. They just keep scrolling. You get addicted. Something like, oh my God, I'm doing this for a half hour. I got to get on. And I'm working, right? And I'm working on the client stuff, but I scroll to the next one. Like, I got to get out of this. Got to get out of it. It's the entertainment of what the world is right now.
Yeah.
And that's what they're getting. They're in front of their phone, right? They couldn't go out for 2 years, right? They can't go to restaurants. They can't go to the movie theater. So they're on their phones all night. And that's how it became popular. It's because of the pandemic.
Yeah, I think you're right. That definitely accelerated it. Interesting, man. I gotta make my own TikTok now. Okay, cool. So now we're in the brave new world of TikTok, in addition to Instagram, in addition to Facebook. Is Snapchat relevant at all in this world, or no?
I think Snapchat's a thing of the past, honestly. I've worked with Snapchat before. I don't think I think TikTok took it over.
Yep.
I think the Snapchat is still good for, I guess you want to say, that underground world where they want to send media and content and pictures where, it disappears.
Yeah.
No other platform does that. So that's good for an image like that.
And there was a moment when Facebook tried to buy Snapchat and it didn't work out. And that's usually when they pillage all your intellectual property and just do what you're doing anyway.
Exactly.
So they probably maybe should have sold it.
Yep.
And then it would have been
a whole new platform.
It would have been relevant, I think, and still now.
Yeah.
Because
the filters could only last so long with the Snapchat. I mean, I still have it. You still play with the filters, but it's like.
But everybody else got the filters.
Exactly.
And the story features. I guess,
that was washed away fast. I remember when the story feature came out, it was cool. It was cool for like a good month. And then it was like, TikTok came out. And it was like, everyone that jumped on TikTok.
Yep.
My friends and my clients who jumped on TikTok, I would say like year 2, they became viral fast because they were the only videos to look at.
Yep.
And then they built up,
Yep. There's definitely a thing where the longer it's popular, the more saturated it becomes, right? And that's the case really with any market. All right, cool. What is your favorite part of all this?
My favorite part of all this is a great question. Well, I love helping people. So I love being out. I love networking, and I love meeting new people and building like my client relations and meeting friends, making new friends. But in the end game, I love being able to help the next person, whether it's for free or a charity thing. I just like to see how I can make a difference with anything.
Okay.
So I love it. I love being out and meeting new people. That's why for the pandemic, it really killed me not being able to go out and see people.
Yeah.
So
it's for the most social among us, I think it was the most devastating.
Yeah.
I kind of am like an introvert, extrovert. So like a lot of it I didn't mind. Like at the time I was living in Nashville and I was working at home. We were looking around to start one of these down there.
Okay.
And it just ended up being really bad timing to do that because
Okay.
I started looking like end of 2019.
Okay.
And by the time I was kind of figuring out the lay of the land in Nashville,
hit.
I couldn't do anything anyway.
Wow.
Actually, we almost signed a lease and it didn't go through. Like we were negotiating and then the landlord was like, actually, no, we don't want to do this deal.
Well, you got lucky.
I was so mad at first and then I was like, wow.
You got so lucky.
really
Yep.
sidestepped a landmine there because we had signed a lease literally like the month before COVID hit. And then we were like forced to shut down. We would have been so screwed.
Yep. I know a friend who bought a deli the month before COVID hit. And he lost a lot. He lost everything.
Wow.
And it's horrible. Like you look at the luck of that, right? Of like the guy literally signed on March 1st of COVID,
Right.
And then you look at other people. What about the guy who just sold it to him?
Yep.
That guy hit the lotto, right? So it's interesting what happened with everybody's different stories. So you lucked out with that. Thank God.
Yes, and it was like I was so mad at first, and then immediately I was like, "Oh wow, actually I dodged the bullet."
Yeah, you definitely dodged a bullet.
And then we ended up, expanding our facility on Long Island instead, and so that's like the reason why we're sitting here is because instead of doing that thing down there, we made a bigger, nicer facility up here.
And then you might never have been at the high school reunion. I would have
That's
never
true.
known. And then look, we wouldn't be here today.
Exactly. Yeah. For background, we ran into each other recently at our 20-year reunion,
Which is crazy.
which is the thing that makes you feel a little old. Right before I was leaving, I saw Jason and I was like, hey, come get interviewed on my podcast because I knew you're in the entrepreneurial zone and that's what this podcast is all about, is
Yeah.
local business, and I wanted an excuse to show you the studio
Thank you.
as well.
Thank you, Matt. I really appreciate you inviting me down here today.
I appreciate you coming and checking it out because, there's a little bit of overlap in the content creation space, and I know you would appreciate the music studio construction.
There's a lot here, I feel like, for everybody, whether you're doing music creation or you need the green room. So a lot of really cool features here that I think could really benefit from a lot of people.
I appreciate you saying that. Out there, just showing it to people and getting the word out, and that's part of what this is. In addition to me learning everybody's story when they come in here, I get to show them our facility, and it's kind of just like win-win. And
I love it.
like, a person walks in the door, knows we exist.
Yep.
And I get to find out everything about them, and then I get to share their story with whoever's listening in the internet world.
In the internet world, whoever's out there.
World out there.
Yep.
Where do you foresee 2022 taking Eminem?
So I see 2022 as one of the best years I'm probably going to have. I'm hoping. That guy with the 33 nursing homes actually called me the New Year's Day, and he said, something just came over me. 2022 is going to be your year. And this is a guy who never really compliments.
Okay.
So it was interesting for him to say that.
He had the vibes.
He had the vibes. And we race cars together. We know each other through the car world, too.
Got it.
And I said, okay. So I had that in the back of my head. And then, like, that Monday, I came into work, and we got a new client. And we
Okay.
didn't even try for it. We got it. And then the week later, we got another new client. So I'm like, oh, wow, okay. So I looked at the framework of what I had to do for my office. Did I have the right staff? Did I not? So I had to get rid of some of the people that weren't, I say, ideal for the job, hired some new people. And I see 2022 as we're coming out of the pandemic, and we're going to grow this company to where it needs to be.
I like that.
Yeah.
I feel the same way about my business endeavors. I
Good.
feel like 2022 is going to be a turning point. We're sort of hopefully really, really coming out of this whole pandemic stuff now. And I think that people are excited to get back to business, get back to work, get back to feeling productive and creative.
And I think the time we're in right now is perfect for that, because you got to note that we were all cooped up, right?
Yeah.
So we weren't spending money, and we were all, well, you might have been spending money, but we were all
On
cooped
Amazon.
up. On Amazon, right? We were all like locked up here.
Yeah.
So now you look at that opportunity that people are coming out and they're like, they know they really don't, I don't want to say you don't have a second chance, but you really don't have a second chance. Knowing that we were able to like do what we did during the pandemic, and now we're back out again. Like, let's bring everything to the next level. So I
Yeah.
feel like there are people that are more generous. I feel like now there are a lot of angry people we come with every day, more angry than I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
But that's unfortunate. There's problems that happen in people's lives. But I think 2022, we're going to see the concerts are going to come back. We're going to go back out there, and Eminem's going to really take it to the next level. And I'm just blessed that we've been getting phone calls we've been getting. So I'm happy about that.
Awesome. I'm glad you feel that way. I'm feeling positive as well.
Good.
I think we covered a good amount of business
Yep.
stuff. And now I just want to check in with you, even though I might already know the answer, about your non-business
Sure.
favorite things to do.
Sure.
So I have a hunch that one of them involves automobiles.
They do. They do.
Okay. So tell me about your relationship with cars briefly. Like, when did that really start, and
Sure.
and how has it evolved over the years?
I've always loved cars since I was probably like 15, I want to say, is when I really got into it. I was down in South Florida with my grandfather, and we were looking at old cars, and I was like, I want one of these old cars. And that was really one of my dreams, to have an old car. And we went
How old are we talking?
1960 at the
Okay.
time. So that was, let's say, year 2000. We're looking at a 1960 car. Mm-hmm. So it was old enough then. It was probably, what, like 40 years old?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's good math.
So that's good math. Look at it. I'm not even a math guy.
I could do the math when
I
there's
could-
when there's zeros on the end.
Yeah, the
I
zeros on
haven't
the end. It's pretty easy to do that one.
Yeah.
So we were looking at some cars. I remember being in the car with my grandfather, and it just like related me to my grandfather. And I really liked it. And then I started doing like small projects. I'd fix like dirt bikes and motorcycles. And I said, oh, I could play with these engines and do this kind of stuff. Then we came back to New York. I was turning 16, and we were going to get a car for myself because we all were getting our license then. And my dad gave me this like beat up Blazer. At the time, it was actually probably a pretty nice Blazer, but I was driving it, and we were looking around, and we're like, okay, do you want to maybe build a car together or do something? So we went to Deer Park Avenue in Long Island, and we found a car we loved. It was a 1961 Cadillac.
Okay.
And we went in. It was very weird, especially like with the world the way it was then. It was still weird. We went into the dealership. It was like one of these car places on the side of the road. And the guy says, you like it? Take it home for the weekend.
That's
was like-
odd. That doesn't happen.
Okay, really? We could just you don't even know. I don't know you. You don't know me. You want to deposit? No. Trust me. Take the car home for the weekend. You're going to love it. Okay. So we took the car home for the weekend, and I cruised Deer Park Avenue at 16 years old with this car. And I was like, oh my God, I want this. And my dad's like, you don't want like a newer car? You want this for your main car? I'm like, I want this car. This is what I want. So we took the car home Sunday night. We were like, this is it. I want this car. The price was right. It was a 1961 Cadillac Coupe. Monday, we called the guy. I'll never forget him, Joe. We called Joe and we said, hey, Joe, we're going to take the car. He goes, okay, no problem. Hold on to it. I'm going to find the title for you, and then we'll figure out how much to pay and all that stuff. And we're like, you don't have the title? So Joe didn't have the title for the car, unfortunately. So we're driving a car with no title. So we brought the car back to him with the dealer plates on it, and I knew that was the car I wanted. I wanted a 61 Cadillac. And as we did our research, that we knew the Cadillacs is what I wanted, my dad had all these cars as a kid. He only had Cadillacs from the 50s to the 60s, the 70s, the 80s. So I was kind of following my dad's footsteps of like fixing his own cars because he didn't have a lot of money when he was younger to like fix the cars. So I got into that scheme of like fixing things and whatnot. So we went looking and we realized I wanted a 61 Cadillac convertible because it was going to be worth more today.
Right.
And then it might have been a little more money, and we're talking like maybe like $3,000 more then. So it wasn't a big deal. So we were going to buy a beat up car because they were all beat up, and then we were going to restore it as a project with me and my dad. So at that time, this is now like 22 years later, we bought a 1960 Cadillac. We redid it twice, and we finally just redid it because I was originally going to get married. So we were going to get the car ready for my wedding.
Okay.
And I never got married.
All right.
Nothing bad there, but never got married. I broke that off, and I got the car done. And it took about 6 years to get the car finished, and now I just use it like as a show car.
Gotcha.
So, but I love it. It's my favorite car out of all my cars. People, it's funny. Somebody asked me today, what's your dream car? And I said, I'll be honest with you, I think I have my dream car.
That's a good place to be.
You know, I got people offered me a lot of money for this car, and to me, it's not a dollar value.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a lawyer come up to me with millions of dollars. He wasn't offering me that, but he's a big time guy. He offered me the number that the car is worth. And I says, I can't take it. So he doubled the number. Ooh. And I was like, almost the price of a house today.
Yeah.
And I says, like, when it's a matter of, I built this car with my dad.
Yeah.
And my dad's still around, thank God. But it was just a memory that we have together.
It's a sentimental
for
value.
20 years of building this car, you know?
And it's funny how sometimes when something means something to you personally, you can't put a number on it.
Right, exactly. It's priceless.
Yeah.
Yep. And even for double the value, and my dad would say to me, what are you, an idiot? Sell the car. Go sell the car. We'll go get another one.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
But for me, that was 20 years of my life coming home from school, going back to my parents' garage and working on this car and whatnot. Yeah. And it leads to that to now I'm building my own garage.
Okay.
Because I just have such a love for cars and building more cars.
I know you like big cars too, though.
Yeah.
You pulled up today in a large one.
I did. I got a few pickup trucks. I snowplow also.
Okay, yep.
So you need the right equipment for anything you do.
Yep.
So I love my trucks. I really do. I do a lot of work to my own trucks. I don't really let anyone touch my stuff unless it's like engine work and something I'm not capable of.
Gotcha.
So
that's cool. I was never able to fix my own car. My uncle is like that. My uncle's pet project is a dune buggy.
Oh, nice.
Okay, because when he was a kid, he used to ride like out in Montauk.
On the dunes?
On the dunes.
Yeah.
Because they had one when he was a kid that my grandpa got. And that thing rusted and died years ago because that's what happens.
So he wanted a new one.
So he built a new one, but it was like, I think he went to the trouble of like making it street legal and like it's really souped up and it looks really intense. But you know, he got the car fixing gene and I didn't.
Yep. Okay. Everyone has their own thing, right? You're talented in the music world, and I can't. If I were to sing right now, we'd break all the listeners' ears right now. It'd be no good.
Yes. I always joke about Zoom and the pandemic is that everybody learned one huge part of my job, which is pressing a mute button at an appropriate time. You know what I mean? Everybody learned the significance of the mute button and how critical that can be.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. I interviewed a lawyer recently, and he was like, listen, divorce court is now awesome. I can do it from my house on Zoom. And, I, you know, like, the courts are running on time because no one's like late driving.
Right.
And I was
Isn't
like,
that crazy?
actually, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you're not waiting around all day to see a judge or whatever because everyone's like on the road getting into accidents and stuff. So I'm like, oh, this is silver linings.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It is. It helped some people it hurt, you know?
Yeah. Hopefully we can take the best of the technology and use it when we need it and still be able to do stuff in person in the future.
I agree.
All right. Cars is the hobby,
Car is definitely the hobby.
and social media is the business.
That's correct. Thanks for having me today, Matt.
Thank you so much, Jason, for coming by, and I'm really glad I asked you to come at our 20-year high school reunion.
I'm glad I went to the 20-year high school reunion. I almost didn't
too.
go. I was like, I'm not going to go to that. And look at this now. See, we made a great connection.
I'm very glad that you're here, and I'm glad that your office is nearby. I didn't realize how close
Yeah,
it was.
I can't believe I'm 8 minutes from here. Like, this is great.
That's so cool. All right. Thanks for coming down.
Thank you, Matt.
And thanks, everyone, for listening, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in to the Long Island Local Podcast. If you're interested in studio membership programs for music production or content creation, please visit audioworkstationsinc.com. And please check out our guest of today's podcast. We enjoy having on all local entrepreneurs. If you'd like to be considered for a featured interview on our podcast, please contact Long Island Local Podcast at gmail.com.
Hey guys, Jason Martello here from M&M Social Media. That is mnmsocialmedia.com. So that's M as in Mary, N as in Nancy, M as in Mary, socialmedia.com. If you guys are interested in us running your social media, please let us know. It's 631-265-6289. We are local, we are loud, and we are ready to get your social media out there.